Yo, what's going on, people? Party people. Yes, sir. You already know what's going on. It's your boy, Speaker Truth. You know what I'm saying? Coming at you one more time. Really should have set up my back pillow, but I ain't do all that. So it is. Hey, I got it right here. That ain't nothing but an easy setup. That ain't nothing but an easy setup. But look, my household is asleep right now, so I'm gonna try not to be too loud, so that might affect the video. I hope not, but it is what it is. I had no plans on recording this video today, tonight, this morning, however you want to classify it. But the reality of the situation is when the message speaks to you, you gotta speak truth to power. You know what I mean? And this is a weird feeling for multiple reasons. This is literally the first podcast I have recorded, not only in 2023, but this is the first podcast I have recorded since like July or August, somewhere around there of 2022. So like, let's just give myself the benefit of the doubt. I have not recorded a podcast since August 2022. That's a long time. It's April, beginning of April. Today's April 11th. I'm recording this podcast April 11th, 2023. Easter was 2 days ago. So that gives you some context. Y'all see the title of the program, but not the title of the program. Y'all see the title of the video. You know what I'm saying? Picked and planted. Yes, sir. Picked and planted. And for me, man, this, I don't even know if it's gonna make it up. And the reason why I say it, it probably is gonna go up, but I don't know if it's gonna make it up because, typically my process for making videos, something happens to me, I experience something, I see something, something resonates with me, and as a result my synapses start firing. All these ideas and thoughts start percolating in my head, and as a result it inspires me to make a podcast. And something similar happened, but it was different. And how it was different is, I'll just tell you what happened. So it was Easter Sunday, happy Resurrection Day. Today's not Resurrection Day, but you get the gist. Happy belated Resurrection Day. Heroes. Like that song. Anyways, so I'm gonna insert that, by the way. So yes, sir. I know I didn't say insert the clip, but not really a clip. It's audio, so little different. But anyways, it was Easter, and we were either heading up to church or heading down. I want to say church was over, and we were on our way to get something to eat. And Joel Osteen was on, and Joel Osteen was talking about how you are chosen, right? And I was listening to Joel Osteen, and I was resonating with Joel Osteen. I was like, yeah, Joel, okay, I can get down with that. And then I was like, you know what? I just came from church. Church was a cool message. So I heard Joel Osteen, and I was like, that's just a good sermon. You feel what I'm saying? Then we came out from dinner, and Joel Osteen was still on, which isn't really that strange, particularly if you're listening to the satellite radio. Not that strange, but it was the same sermon. I was like, nah. I was like, nah. And the reason why I'm saying nah is because I was like, bro, there's just, what are the chances? What are the chances of that? And me personally, I'm already not, I don't believe in coincidences. You know what I'm saying? So hearing Joel Osteen hearing Joel Osteen say you were chosen, to me, that wasn't a coincidence, right? And I was already thinking the first time I heard it, I was like, maybe that's a good topic for the podcast, right? But I kind of have already dabbled with that topic before, and I don't necessarily like making repeat episodes, but I mean, I would say the difference between this topic and the last topic, not like the last podcast episode, but maybe the last time I said you were chosen or whatever. I haven't done my research in terms of my past podcasts. Let's just say I talked about you being chosen a year ago. I haven't looked at that particular podcast, so it could have just been an excerpt or a piece that I said in my podcast for that particular episode. I didn't spend a whole episode, but regardless, I don't like making repeat episodes where I talk about the same thing, reiterate my point, talk about, for example, or let's just use this example. I don't like saying you're chosen 5 weeks ago and then 3 months after that saying you're chosen. That's just not what I like to do. But shoot, bro, if it's coming from God, I'm gonna talk about it. You feel what I'm saying? I know what you might be thinking. It wasn't coming from God. It came from Joel Osteen. Hey, okay, like, I hear what you're saying, and that's a fair point. But the way I internalized it is going back to alignment. You feel what I'm saying? Like, what are the chances that I hear a sermon from Joel Osteen on Easter, on Resurrection Sunday, talking about you are chosen, and then hear that exact same sermon on the way out? It could have been any other Joel Osteen sermon. I heard that one. So I'm going with God had a message that he wanted me to hear. It resonated with me, and as a result, I'm gonna talk about it. Now, here's the problem. I was not in control of the car. I was staying at my grandfather's house. I was in my grandfather's car. And so, basically, we drove from Outback Steakhouse to his house, which only took like 15 minutes, if that, not like 10 minutes. So I didn't get to hear the whole sermon, right? And I still had to pack. So the conundrum was, this is a good sermon, but like, I would like to hear the whole sermon from beginning to end so I can really get like my thoughts together and sort them out and all that type of stuff. And that really didn't happen. So I was like, I don't know how I'm going to really be able to make a podcast out of this if I can't flesh out my thoughts. And so, long story short, my thoughts were not fleshed out. But one thing that Joel Osteen said in his sermon that really resonated with me was that when you're chosen, you are given an opportunity. And basically, once you are given the opportunity, it's up to you to decide, are you going to step up to the plate? Like, if your dream is to become a chef, right? And then you go and start applying for jobs, and you just keep getting denied and denied and denied and denied. And then you finally get a job offer. Hey, there's your opportunity right there. You felt like you wanted to be a chef. You now have the opportunity to be a chef. Are you going to rise to the occasion? Like an opportunity has been presented to you. What are you going to do about it? So, that was one thing that I felt like was very, I don't even want to say powerful, but it just resonated with me. And like literally I was in bed, like sleep, lights off, everything, chilling less than 12 minutes ago. And now I'm up. So, not saying I'm gonna stay up. I really only turn the lights on and stuff for the podcast, but ultimately I'll just share my experience with you all. I recently got a job opportunity, you feel what I'm saying? And I haven't started working yet, but once I started to put the pieces together about how am I going to talk about the podcast if my thoughts aren't really fleshed out, I'm not super excited about this topic. I might have already talked about it before, but the more I thought about it, I was like, you being chosen gives you an opportunity. I myself have been given an opportunity. So what am I going to do with that opportunity? Me personally, I'm going to rise to the occasion, and being chosen is one thing. Being chosen is a big part of it. There are a lot of people in the Bible that were chosen, like Moses was chosen despite his background. You feel what I'm saying? Like despite the fact that he had a speech impediment. Moses was chosen despite the fact that he killed someone. Moses was chosen despite the fact that he ran away. Moses said, "Let my people go." He didn't lead them to the promised land, but he got them up out of Egypt. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's your mission? What's your goal? What are you out here to accomplish? You know what I'm saying? And what is the opportunity going to provide you with? You feel what I'm saying? Like, in this particular example, not the Moses example, but in this particular example, Joel Osteen was talking about how he went down to the basketball court. He was just playing basketball. And a group of other guys were playing basketball. And Joel Osteen knew he wasn't that good. And it sounded like there was some black guys. The black guys' game had ended. And Joel Osteen was like, shoot, it was time for a new game to start. So they was picking people. And one of the black guys was like, I want Joel Osteen. And Joel Osteen was like, what? Like I'm trash. He didn't say that, but these are the internal thoughts going on in his head. Like, I'm not good enough. And then you got the outside voices talking about, man, he's white. He's not good enough. All the noise and negative perception. And man, Joel Osteen was like, well, shoot. If bro thinks I'm good enough to be on his team, maybe I am good enough. So he said he put on his LeBron James mentality. You know what I'm saying? He didn't say he started going crazy in the game. I didn't get to listen to the whole sermon. I don't know what happened with Joel Osteen's situation. But what I can tell you is that you are chosen. I can say that with confidence. Because there's no way, listen to me, if you've listened to me, you have some sort of confidence in me. You mess with me on some sort of level. That's the first thing. Second, I talk about alignment. And for me, alignment is when God's will and my will and actions, they correlate directly. They line up. They match up. It's a It's a straight line. To me, that's what alignment is. So, you can't tell me that I heard a sermon twice talking about you, not just me. It wasn't just me I'm talking about you, the person listening, the person watching. You can't tell me that you aren't chosen because I heard a sermon twice in one day about how I am chosen and others, that listen to it, they are chosen. Moses was chosen. David was chosen. You feel what I'm saying? Like, all these people God chooses. You cannot convince me that you are not a chosen person if you're listening and hearing this podcast. And the reason why, it's because of alignment. It's because of how God works. I told you, Moses had a spirit. Like, I'm, you know what? Matter of fact, you ain't gotta believe me. Go read scripture. I'll insert the scripture. Okay, it should be right here above my head. Then, after the scripture, I'm gonna insert the clip.
Abraham was old, Elijah was suicidal, Joseph was abused, Job went bankrupt, Moses had a speech problem, Gideon was afraid, Samson was a womanizer, Rahab was a prostitute, Samaritan woman, she was divorced, Noah was a drunk, Jeremiah was young, Jacob was a cheater, David was a murderer, Jonah ran from God, Naomi was a widow, Peter denied Christ 3 times, Martha worried about everything, Zacchaeus was small and money hungry, the disciples fell asleep while praying, and Paul, a Pharisee who persecuted Christians before becoming one. So God has a history and has always had a thing for choosing imperfect, flawed, broken, and weak people. Always. I mean, that it comes up time and time again in the Bible. But why? Because he's perfect when we are imperfect. He's pure when we are impure. He's whole and complete when we are broken. He is strong when we are weak. And through our lack, he shows how he is able to work all things together for good to those who love him. He is able to do exceedingly and abundantly more than we can ask or think.
Yes, sir. So, and all these events happen within the span of 24 hours. Like, I was in Montgomery going to Easter Sunday service on Sunday. Easter Sunday service on Sunday. I was in Montgomery on Sunday at church. Came out of church, listened to Joel Osteen. Then 24 hours later, I watched the clip. I just told you all about that. Actually, might have been, I think that was Monday morning. It was either Monday. It doesn't matter when it was. It was in the span of 24 hours. I know that much. So, for me, none of this is a coincidence. And where I was going earlier was, if you're chosen, one, you have to accept that. You have to believe that. You have to know that in your being. You can't allow the outside noise, the BS, what your family says, what other people say about you. Shoot, you can't allow your own internal negativity, trauma, whatever it is, the devil, all that. You can't allow none of that to stop you, distract you, convince you that you're not chosen, that you're not that one, that you're not a child of God, that whatever is in your head and that you have your mind set to and you feel like you can achieve, you can't let none of that take you off that path. No, you gotta get planted. You have to be rooted, grounded in the idea, in the fact that you are exactly what you need to be. You have exactly what you need in order to accomplish where you want to be, what you're trying to achieve. And thirdly, well, I don't even know what thirdly is, but them two right there, you can't You can't let that stuff shake you, bro. You gotta get planted, man. You gotta stay rooted. You feel what I'm saying? So understand you are chosen. When the opportunity comes, understand it's your time to put on your LeBron James, bro. It's time for you to put on your Mamba mentality. It's time for you to ball like Jordan, bro. It's time for you to go hard in the paint, bro. It's this ain't no. I hope y'all realize, man, this ain't no game to me, man. This podcast ain't no game to me. Life ain't no game to me. You know how I talk about God. This ain't no game to me. I ain't sitting up here saying by no stretch of by any means. I'm not saying by any means am I perfect. None. I do stuff every single day to where I question myself. How can I say I'm a Christian, a follower of Christ, when I do some of the stuff that I'm doing? But the reality of the situation is, I know what I want. I know what God has given me. I know what God has done for me. I know where I came from. Okay, I know where I started. So how can I know where I started and know what I want, and then say to myself, I'm not gonna make it? It just don't add up to me. And I'll just give you a perfect example. I got a job, a job. It's not a perfect job, but it's a job that I wanted. It's a job that pays well for where I'm at, and it's a job that I need. I used to be depressed. Some years ago, I used to struggle with depression. I'm not gonna go on all that, but I used to struggle with depression. So how is it that I, somebody who struggled with depression, struggled with addiction, okay, couldn't see my life turning out well, figuring out how to function as a normal human being, achieving things that I want. I couldn't see those things. It was just a dark place in my life. How could I go from that to now getting a job that I wanted, that pays well, with a reputable company, that told me, the manager literally told me, I see myself in you. The manager told me, you stood out because of how you dressed and how you carried yourself. Those are not compliments for somebody that's not chosen. You see, I'm like, and you can say, well, that's not me. Speak your truth with what you're going through. That's not me. What you fail to realize is it wasn't always me either. It just took time. But that's why I'm telling you, you are chosen, man. Woman, person, you are chosen. Like, you are picked. You are set apart. You are different. You are not everybody else. You have something in you that everybody else does not have. And you've got to get planted. You have to get rooted. You have to get grounded, stabilized. You have to be in an environment that is going to grow you. You have to do things that are going to enrich the soil that you are in. You have to do things to where when the storm comes, your roots will not just blow away. You have to stand firm in what it is that you believe, and what it is that you know, and what it is that you and who it is that you know who you are. I mean, shoot, I didn't know I had all this inside of me when I turned on this camera. I promise you I didn't. I promise you. And shoot, you might have been listening to the first 10 to 12 minutes and been like, get to the point. But me personally, I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job explaining the point God wanted me to say, So, I mean, it's levels to it, man. So don't beat yourself up or say that you can't do something just because you don't see it. Don't do that to yourself. Don't put yourself in a box. You're bigger than you think you are. Trust me, because I've been there personally, and I'm sure you've been there too. Maybe this is a reminder. You know what I'm saying? I do I do songs of the week. Song of the week every Sunday. Just to give you the energy that you need. I do it on my Instagram. You know what I'm saying? I post a song and I just talk about it and I sing the lyrics. You know what I'm saying? Just to give you the energy to start the week that you need. Maybe that's what this podcast is. Maybe this particular episode. Maybe this particular episode is just giving you the rejuvenation that you need to say, hey, I am chosen. I am that one. I've been tripping. The environment that I've been in, the chaos that's been going on around me has allowed me to forget that I'm a child of God. I don't know. You know what I mean? Me personally, I'm saying I don't know your situation. I just know what I've been going through. You know, and there have been hurdles and adversity and all this different type of stuff, but I've kept going because I know what God has made me. I know what He's putting here. So I'm going to, no matter what's going on in my environment, I'm going to use the skills and the tools that I've learned over the years, you know, the good people I've acquired over the years. And I'm going to use all that, and I'm going to pray, and, you know, I'm going to water myself. I'm going to allow God to water me. I'm going to be planted in some good soil. You feel what I'm saying? I'm going to have a nice environment because I have to grow. I have to grow not only for me, but for my family. I have to grow for my business. I have to grow because of this podcast. I have to grow because of my faith. I have to grow because God chose me to grow. He didn't just... I don't know what else to say, man. He chose me for a reason. He chose you for a reason. And this is bigger, to me, this is bigger than faith. Like, don't get caught up in saying, well, he's always talking about God. Like, you have to be a Christian in order to listen to him. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, understand, you're set apart. Christian or not, believer or non-believer, atheist or Buddhist, whatever, whoever you are chosen. You got this. You can do it. Speak your truth. How do you know? Because you're listening to this. Your average person doesn't listen to this. Go look at the views. You go look at the views, bro. That's how I know. You found it. That's a blessing. Not because of me, but for you. Good for you. I don't need you to watch every episode. This episode was meant just for you. That's how I know. This message will get out to the people that it needs to get out to. Excuse me. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. That's all I got. Hopefully this ain't no repeat, but if it is, I don't really care. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really care because I feel like this was a prevalent message. Not really for my situation. I mean, it's prevalent in my life, you know. I definitely like saying it out loud. I was like, dang. I was like, interesting. Like, I was talking. I was like, dang. But it's prevalent because, you know, it's real. It just is. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, it's sometimes for me, things are so deep, you can't always put them into words. Like, you know, I would like to sit here and be able to say I can articulate how prevalent it is, you know. And you might be saying, well, if you can't articulate how prevalent it is, it doesn't sound very prevalent to me. I would say, hey, you're not me. You really don't know how little I had to go off of before I had hit record. You know, so for it to have turned into what it did turn into, to me, is impressive. And I'm thankful because it gave me some energy, gave me some motivation, you know, whatever. But that's all I got, man. You know, so I hope that you were able to take something away from this. I hope the audio wasn't too low. You know, I'm gonna watch this back, and hey, that's all I got, man. That's all I got. So, you know, this is me, your boy, speaker of truth. I have spit my truth. So I hope you all have enjoyed it. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. It helps the channel grow, helps others to see this message. You feel what I'm saying? And if you're listening via audio, you know, hey, you can't like it, but you can share it. You know, so I just ask that you share the podcast, let your friends and families know about it, post it on social media if you know, get something out of it, clip it, whatever the heck. I'm just, I'm trying to grow ultimately. But really for me, it's not about the views. I was talking to my cousin this weekend, and we were just talking about life and stuff, and what I've learned is not really just talking to him, but for me, the podcast is like a form of therapy. It's very therapeutic. It's a place where I'm able to get ideas out of my head, feelings off my chest, stuff like that. And the more I practice it, maybe I'm not there yet, but the more I practice it, I feel like the better I get at being able to form and structure my thoughts in a cohesive way that makes sense linearly, in a linear manner. And maybe that's not true. I don't know, but I was looking at some old podcasts and I was like, man, sometimes I just be all over the place and it be sounding good in my head, but it doesn't always show up well, or whatever. It doesn't go well when I'm watching it back. But I think I did pretty good today, but that's all I got. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm out.